They removed Daisy's body. The autopsy would take place in the morning. But I had one more stop to make.
It's 悲しい事件だった。これは許されませんね。
That night, I swore to find the monster who killed that child. Ratchet on train saw me? How? Daisy.
She was awake?
And then she collapsed again.
I take the responsibility. She was weaker than I realized.
Oh.
Lie still while I examine you. Pupils dilated?
I'm all right.
You are far from all right. You have been heavily sedated. Your pulse is very weak.
I have to finish my story. Ratchet can't escape again. Can't escape.
Have no fear of that, mademoiselle. Ratchet will not escape.
We must hear her story.
This woman needs rest. I will let you know when she is recovered enough to continue. But I warn you, it will be some time.
I understand, Doctor. Thank you.
I have completed my preliminary examination of the deceased. I think that it will interest you.
Indeed it will. And I have other witnesses to interrogate. You are right. Let's not put this poor woman in danger. There will be plenty of time for her to finish her story when she has recovered. By all means, tell me the results of your examination.
Go. アメリカ人だよな。
Et voilà. Can you estimate the time of death?
Rigor mortis was advanced, but not complete. I estimate the death occurred between midnight and 2 in the morning.
That tallies with the witness statements I've collected so far. What is the cause of death?
Multiple stab wounds to the upper torso. It's odd there are no signs of a struggle. That might indicate one of the first wounds was enough to kill him.
It seems that Monsieur Ratchet had taken sleeping pills during the night.
Ah. That would explain the lack of defensive wounds.
Mr. McQueen and Mr. Masterman told me that Monsieur Ratchet didn't smoke. Can you confirm this?
I can't say without a more extensive post-mortem.
What can you tell me about the stab wounds?
I counted 12 in all. 1 or 2 are so slight as to be practically scratches. On the other hand, at least 3 would be capable of causing death. The angle of the wounds is instructive. Most appear to have been struck by a right-handed person. But you see, this one, under the right armpit, it's not a deadly blow given the depth, but a right-hander couldn't have done it. It was most certainly struck with the left hand.
So, our murderer is left-handed. No, it is more difficult than that, is it not?
As you say, Mr. Poirot, some of these other blows are just as obviously right-handed.
Do we have a first and second murderer, as the great Shakespeare would put it? The first murderer stabs his victim and exits left, turning off the light. Then a second murderer comes in the dark, does not see his or her work has been done, and stabs a dead body.
Magnificent.
You think so? I'm glad. It sounds to me a little like nonsense.
複数ね。
Thank you, Doctor. Excellent work under difficult circumstances. Please let me know when I may speak again with Mademoiselle Locke.
Of course.
Even a smoker might innocently turn me down. Those I've questioned could be lying to me. I must be sure of the answer.
普通に。
Yes, that's certainly a good place to start.
People 吸っているものをどうやって見つければいい？タバコについての話し合いを思い出す。
Personally seen some passengers smoking. I just have to remember who they were. I suppose it's likely they will give me the list of who smokes what. I'm right again. That happens to me a lot. How is Mademoiselle Locke, Doctor?
Her vital signs are improving, but she is still unconscious.
I understand. Thank you for looking after her. My little gray cells did not let me down.
ラチェットがデイジーの事件の直接の犯人ではないけどという感じか。これ意味あんのか。喫煙者。
Captain Arbuthnot, I beg your pardon, but could you answer a few questions for me?
I'm grateful you found my ticket, Poirot, but now is not convenient.
I certainly didn't expect such a resistance. I need to be sure before accusing the captain.
Hmm. とりあえず話す。実質。
Most of the passengers pass by the bar during the day. They eat, drink, write. Maybe I can use this information for my investigation. Good. Yes, it could work. He appears to be an observant young man and serves the passengers regularly. Yes. Yes, if I ask them to write something trivial, they may do it instinctively with their dominant hand. I do not think that's the right answer. Given all his regular duties and the number of passengers he serves, it is unlikely Mr. Michel could pay attention to this kind of detail while interacting with him.
ブーク話したことを思い出す。いい？手について話したっけ？
Right. Yes, I will remember which people use their right or left hand. My little gray cells did not let me down.
手使うとこ見た？
Mademoiselle Debenham, I have a few questions for you.
Of course.
今見るのね。
Let's start with your movements last night.
There's little to tell. I went to bed and slept.
Did you know the man who was killed?
I saw him for the first time during lunch yesterday.
Did you notice anything about him?
Well, if I believed in auras, I might say he seemed dark.
Would you mind writing your address on this paper for me?
Not at all.
さすがに右利き。いや、本当に右利き？
That's it. Mademoiselle Debenham is right-handed. Do you recall what time Mademoiselle Olsen went to get some aspirin from Madame Hubbard?
I remember glancing at the clock. She left our room just after 10:30 p.m.
Was she away for a long time?
About 5 minutes.
That confirms what Madame Hubbard told me. Do you recall what time...
I remember glancing at the clock. She left our room just after 10:30.
Was she away?
About 5 minutes.
That confirms what...
こっちの時期のこと結構忘れちまったよ。
Do you smoke by any chance?
No, I never have.
Do you own a scarlet nightgown?
No, it isn't mine.
Whose then?
I don't know. What do you mean?
You do not say, I have no such thing. You say, it isn't mine. Meaning that you know who it belongs to, am I correct?
Oh, I see. No. I woke up this morning about 5 a.m. with the feeling that the train had been standing still for a long time. I opened the door, and I saw someone in a scarlet kimono some way down the corridor. Her back was turned. It was impossible to see who it was.
I understand.
そういや、なんか知ってる人いたな、映画館にも。あれは違うのか。
Thank you for your assistance, mademoiselle. Mademoiselle, I am sorry to disturb you, but I need to ask you a few questions.
Are you the investigator?
I am.
We are lucky you are on the train. What do you want to know?
I hear, mademoiselle, that you were the last person to see the murdered man alive.
I do not know. It may be so. I opened the door of his compartment by mistake. I was much ashamed. It was a most awkward mistake.
You actually saw him?
Yeah. He was reading a book.
And what did you do after that, mademoiselle?
I went into the American lady, Mrs. Hubbard. I asked her for some aspirin, and she gave it to me. I usually carry extra aspirin for the refugees, but I gave mine to a camp in Turkey. They needed it more than me.
誰だこの人、初めて見た。この人が噂のスウェーデン人。
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot. Did Mrs. Hubbard ask you whether the communicating door between her compartment and that of Monsieur Ratchet was bolted?
Yes.
And was it?
Yes.
And after that, what did you do?
After that, I went back to my compartment, took the aspirin, and lay down. That was around 10:50 p.m.
Is there anyone else in your compartment?
Yeah, a young English lady. Very nice, very amiable.
After the train left Vinkovsky, did she leave the compartment?
No, I am sure she did not.
Why are you so sure, if you were asleep?
I sleep very lightly. I am used to waking at a sound. I am sure that if she had come down from the berth above, I should have awakened.
Did you yourself leave the compartment after that?
Not until this morning.
Do you have a scarlet silk kimono, mademoiselle?
No, indeed. I have a good, comfortable dressing gown of Jaeger material.
Kimono.
Do you smoke, mademoiselle?
No, I can't stand the smell of tobacco.
Perhaps you will be so amiable as to write me down your address.
With pleasure.
Mademoiselle Olsen is indeed right-handed. This was a very interesting conversation, mademoiselle. I thank you.
If you have any other questions, I'll be in my compartment. Good luck, Mr. Poirot.
Hmm. 名前誰？メアリ・デブナム。グレタ。グレタ。矛盾。55分就寝。もう一回会話を聞きたい。
Mademoiselle Deben,
Of course.
do you recall what time
I remember glancing at the clock. She left our room
was she awake?
about 5 minutes.
That confirms. Let's start.
There's little to tell.
Did you
Did
you notice?
Well, if I believe...
Do you owe?
No,
Who's that?
I don't know. What...
You do not say. Meaning that you know.
Oh, I see. No, her back was turned.
Thank you for your assistance.
わからん。実は出たとか。
I do not think that's the right answer. Strange, this story. If Mademoiselle Olsen is such a light sleeper, why didn't she tell me about Mademoiselle Debenham getting out of bed? She even made a point to tell me the opposite. That's the right answer.
忘れないうちに聞きに行くか。
I need to be sure before accusing. Pardon this intrusion, Mademoiselle Olsen, but something you told me earlier confuses me.
Oh, please, come in.
How can you be sure Mademoiselle Debenham was in bed all night?
As I told you, I am a very light sleeper. The slightest noise wakes me up. If Fraulein Debenham had gotten out of her bed, I would have heard her. I got up this morning around 8 a.m. She was sleeping soundly.
起きましたが。8時頃に起きましたが。
Are you certain you would have heard her?
Yes. Why are you asking?
I spoke to Mademoiselle Debenham and she told me that she got up around 5 o'clock in the morning. She opened the door and looked down the corridor. It was then that she saw a woman in a red kimono. How do you explain that?
I think I must have been sleeping very soundly not to have heard it. Oh, but does that make me a suspect?
I am not accusing anyone, mademoiselle. Do not worry. I am just trying to determine what happened last night. Thank you for your testimony.
怪しく聞こえますね。ここら辺になっちまうか。次も聞き込みから。ああ、ちょっと思い出せたかな。
Mademoiselle,
Of course.
do you own a scarlet?
No.
Whose then?
I don't-
You do not say, meaning that
Oh, I see. No, her back was turned.
I under. Thank you for your assistance.
ー。凶器。